And of course, I made a commitment.
What makes sense for our people.
So of course we'll go back, we'll crunch the numbers.
But at the end of the day, this is my guy.
The news is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Ramney Tertola Pier Park, HOV Medical, and Digicel. Sign up for Digicel Plus Home Light bundles, faster internet, movies, and sports.
Global Women Enrichment is going global. We are so excited. We have our Global Women Enrichment Conference happening in the British Virgin Islands in Tortola on March 22nd at Maria's by the Sea.
The Global Women's Conference 2025 with the Mistress of Ceremony, Mrs. Chandria Turnbull, featuring keynote speakers Dr. Naomi Bloomer, special presentations by Dr. Arlene Smith-Thompson and Dr. Arlene T. Penn. Get ready for heart-touching moments with the likes of Charis Hoyt, Samis Donna Klein, and the one and only Brent Hoyt. A one-of-a-kind conference featuring roundtable discussions, live entertainment, eats and drinks, fabulous prizes to be won, and one person will walk away with a grand prize, a treat somewhere in the world. Get your tickets today from JNC Trading or Eventsbrite.com.
The 20s and the 30-year-olds, you are encouraged to come. It's something that you do not want to miss. And bring your friends, bring your co-workers. I mean, there's just going to be a lot of surprises, but it's all going to be great stuff.
We look forward to meeting you.
Virgin Islands Premier and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Natalia D. Wheatley, has described this meeting with Governor of the Greater Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands, Governor Albert Bryan Jr., as successful and has promised not to take the legislation to the House of Assembly before a second meeting with Bryan.
And of course, I made a commitment not to go back to the House of Assembly and pass this legislation until we came together once more to ensure that we're a lot closer together than we were previously. So I would say it's been a definite success, and again I want to thank Governor Bryan and his entire team for being very reasonable, being very engaged, and being committed to the Greater Virgin Islands Partnership. Well, we would like to pass our legislation by June, which means we have work to do right away, because of course we don't want to keep our partners in the USVI waiting. We also have to speak to our own local boating industry.
March 7, 2025, Governor Bryan Jr. traveled to these Virgin Islands for a high-level meeting at the request of Premier Wheatley to address escalating tensions, which was sparked by proposed increases in fees for U.S. Virgin Islands-based charter yacht operations entering Virgin Islands waters.
But having these discussions, I think, is what's important. Everyone is feeling the financial crunch. This is not a Virgin Islands problem, Greater Virgin Islands problems. It's something that's happening internationally. And as we face these political hurdles, communication is key. Coming here and understanding the problem, understanding all the different moving parts, the devil is always in the details, gives us a greater playing field on which we can make an agreement on.
Governor Bryan certainly represented the interests of the U.S. Virgin Islands robustly, and of course I did the same on our side.
Now, while no firm conclusion was reached at the initial meeting, both parties have agreed to go back to their individual drawing tables to crunch numbers.
I think what we decided today was to crunch the numbers and to get back to one another in terms of what makes sense for our people on both sides and, of course, the industry.
So, of course, we'll go back, we'll crunch the numbers, we'll reflect the true costs of being able to do the business for BVI-based boaters, and make sure that, of course, USVI-based boaters, that there's something that is fair in comparison to what BVI boaters pay.
And in responding to the question as to their individual measurement of the temperature of the USVI-BVI friendship, put to both leaders by Acting Director of Communication, Carrier Christopher.
Every friendship has disagreements sometimes. But of course, the test of the true friendship is what happens when we have those disagreements and that we have dialogue. Of course, A lot has been said in the media back and forth, but I always had faith and trust that when we come together, we'll have a nice joke and we'll laugh together, and then we'll have intense discussions.
I think what has to be said is how professional we are as Caribbean men and women to be able to have these differences between the people we represent. But at the end of the day, you know, this is my guy. I come over here, you know, we share big bread together.
We go down by Sappies together.
Absolutely. So it's beyond, I mean, we all have a job to do, but we get emotional sometimes within that setting. But at the end of the day, you know, we could go beyond that and find a solution to some of these problems. And the reality I want to say is a lot of people come to these islands, US and British, and make money and go back to where they're going from, but they have to pay their fair share to the people that live on these islands, to the people that are going to have to pass down our environment to our young people, our family. They have to pay their fair share too. And so I understand why we're having this discussion is execution, parity, and equity, and I think we're going to be good.
With this JTV News Update, Kathy Richards.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.